Well, good evening, and welcome to the Ysleta Independent School District's meeting of the Board of Trustees. Whether you are here to address the board or to celebrate the accomplishments of those being honored here this evening, we are happy that you have taken the time to join us and invite you to take the opportunity to share your questions and comments with the board during the public comment portion of our meeting. Rules for participating in the public comment portion are available at the sign-up table. We would like to remind everyone that this is a board meeting, often attended by students, and ask that we all conduct ourselves in a manner that best represents the values and traditions of the Ysleta Independent School District. Please turn off or silence all cell phones, tablets, and other electronic devices, and thank you for your attendance. Now, before we proceed, I'd like to briefly turn the meeting over to one of our outstanding students who will receive the President's Award tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the dais, Matthew Martinez from Mesa Vista Elementary School.
Thank you, Mr. Haggerty, and good evening, everyone. My name is Matthew Martinez, and I am a sixth grader at Mesa Vista Elementary School. As this month's recipient of the President's Award, it is my honor and my pleasure to call this meeting to order. Thank you.
The May 10th board meeting is called to order at 5:34 p.m. We have a quorum with Mr. Rosales, Mr. Ramirez, Mrs. Woodruff, Mr. Pearson, Ms. Hairston, Ms. Duenas, and myself, Shane Haggerty. Trustee Pearson, will you please lead us in the pledges of allegiance and a moment of silence?
It has become a tradition to honor our nation at each of our board meetings by presenting the colors, reciting the pledges of allegiance, and then posting the colors. The colors tonight are being presented by the Junior ROTC Color Guard from J.M. Hanks High School, home of state champions. The Color Guard commander is Cadet Gianna Morales. The other Color Guard members are Cadet Clarissa Estrada, Cadet Ana Cortez, Cadet Artis Covington. The pledge leader is Mia Valdez, is a cadet from J.M. Hanks High School, JROTC. Will you please stand for the presentation of the colors, the reciting of the Pledge of Allegiance, the Texas Pledge of Allegiance, and a moment of silence. Please remain standing until the cadets have departed.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now please join me in the pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Outward, A, forward, arch. Color guard, O, O's. Colors, present, arms. Order, arms. Color guard, reform. Color guard, O. Enter, ace. right, hands, over, arms.
You may be seated.
Dr. De La Torre, do you have recognitions this evening?
President Haggerty, members of the board, esteemed guests, we have two presentations this evening. At this time, I'll let Patricia Ayala, our Chief Communications Officer, introduce our guests.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent De La Torre. We have three recognitions for you this evening. At this time, we ask that you please come to the front of the dais for the presentations. We also ask audience members to please remain seated until the recognitions are complete. Our first recognition is in honor of Mesa Vista Elementary School sixth grader and Student Council President Matthew Martinez, an exemplary student with a heart for community service that far exceeds his young age. Matthew's extensive community service stems from his very simple desire to help those in need, and it is a facet of his personality that has developed over time. In third grade, Matthew volunteered every day after school to raise money for a class trip to Carlsbad Caverns, which was made possible in large part through his efforts. As part of the school student council, Matthew has organized a number of charitable projects, including the first ever Mesa Vista Cancer Relay for Life, which raised over $1,000. Because of Matthew's involvement in the El Paso Children's Hospital Ambassador Program, the Student Council also organized a successful teddy bear drive for young patients that resulted in a donation of over 270 stuffed animals. Matthew has also spearheaded a canned food and blanket drive for the El Paso Salvation Army, an Easter basket drive for the Child Crisis Center, a field day fundraiser to raise money for new PE equipment, and a movie fundraiser to buy new books for the school. Matthew is not just a wonderful student, but a wonderful human being who is poised to continue his leadership and community service at Bel Air Middle and Bel Air High School. He leaves an indelible impression on the Mesa Vista campus and has a bright future full of success, confidence, and leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause to our President's Award recipient, Mesa Vista Elementary School sixth grader, Matthew Martinez. Accompanying Matthew is teacher and student council sponsor, Ms. Frances Padilla, and principal, Ms. Heather Carnes. Keep smiling. The parents are taking pictures. Thank you. Let's hear it one more time for Matthew Martinez. Our next recognition is in honor of two Ysleta Independent School District employees, East Point Elementary School Principal Dana Boyd and Partners in Education Specialist Bonnie Schulenberg, who were inducted into the 2017 Hall of Fame for the El Paso Commission for Women. Both were nominated for their significant and long-term impacts on the El Paso community. Ms. Boyd, a former Texas Teacher of the Year and Texas National Distinguished Principal, was inducted for her outstanding commitment to education. Ms. Schulenberg, who coordinates the district's Partners in Education program and social media, was inducted for her achievements in public relations. Both were honored at the El Paso County Commissioners Court and El Paso City Council, and the Star on the Mountain shone in their honor on April 23rd. Congratulations to these two outstanding employees on this distinguished honor. Ms. Boyd is under the weather today and could not join us. However, here with us tonight is the district's Partner in Education Specialist and new Hall of Fame inductee, Ms. Bonnie Schulenberg. She's not used to being in front of the camera. She doesn't have to line anybody up this time. She's pretending to act lost, I hope. Tonight marks one of the last board meetings that President Haggerty will preside over at the Ysleta Independent School District. Mr. Haggerty, will you please step forward? Our final recognition this evening is in honor of Mr. Shane Haggerty and the countless hours he has dedicated in support of the Parkland area and the Ysleta Independent School District. We will begin with a presentation of a gift basket compiled by students, staff, faculty, and administrators from the Parkland learning community. From school shirts to rally towels to student artwork, this basket is presented to Mr. Haggerty with much appreciation, love, and gratitude for the 8 years of service you have provided as a trustee. At this time, I would like to introduce two very special guests from the Parkland area. Here to share a few words with us are none other than Mr. Haggerty's sons, Timothy and Abraham.
Hello. I just want to say to the board if you can rename the Hall of Fame to the Hall of Shame. And out of all seriousness, I'd like to thank my dad for always being there for me, always trying his best for the schools, always trying to make the schools better for me and my brother. I just like to thank him, and I admire him so much I like to become him.
I can't believe it's been 8 or 7 years since he started, and it feels like it's been all my life that he's been helping out everyone. And not only has he helped me and my brother out, but he's helped every single student in the Ysleta district, and he's really changed learning for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Timothy and Abraham. Can the three of you pose for a picture, please? Throughout his years of service on the board, Mr. Haggerty has been a hands-on and steadfast supporter of our schools and students in the Parkland area. It was not uncommon to find Mr. Haggerty front and center at sports competitions, activities, and special events, cheering on our students, faculty, and advocating for our schools. As board president, he took on a much broader role of responsibility at the Ysleta Independent School District. His strong desire to help to improve education, particularly in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM, led him to play an instrumental role in the passage of our 2015 Facilities Bond Measure. As a result, students in all 7 learning communities will benefit from modern learning spaces for another quarter century. In addition, Mr. Haggerty co-founded the El Paso STEM Foundation and has provided additional avenues for Ysleta students to develop their STEM skills. In 2016, he retired from the El Paso Fire Department after 17 years of service and currently works with youth at Fort Bliss. President Haggerty, your loyalty to this district has not gone unnoticed, and we thank you for the 8 wonderful years of devoted service. Your energy, your experience, your humor, and your guidance will be greatly missed. At this time, Superintendent de la Torre would like to present you with a gift on behalf of the district. It is a crystal gavel, which is particularly appropriate given that you are the one who started the President's Award that is now given to one student at every meeting. Don't break it. Before we conclude tonight's recognition, Dr. De La Torre has one final gift that he would like to present to President Haggerty. You know we're going to make this easy, right? Can we have a photo, please? Without the ball. This concludes our recognitions for this evening. Thank you.
How many people do we have? Three. Okay.
No, 4.
Four.
That's the way they gave it to me.
No, we're good. Oh my God. Secretary Duenas, do we have requests for citizens' input?
Yes, we do, President Haggerty. We have Jaime Abetia district, subject district.
I don't think he's here. He's almost here.
Next is Marisol Valladolid. I'm sorry. And it's a no close school on Escarate.
Good evening.
Good evening. Can you say your full name, please.
Marisol Valdivieso.
Valdivieso. Sorry.
That's okay. Board President and board members. My child attends Ascarate Elementary, and I heard that Ascarate Elementary is under threat of closure or consolidation. Only a few short years after taxpayers' dollars were spent to make minor renovations with the $4.5 billion bond given to Ysleta Independent School District. The Ysleta Independent School District is seeking to create a black hole in the Riverside area, where a focal point of our community now stands. Rather than attempt to extend the school boundaries, find co-tenants, they are willing to take the short-sighted step of ending an educational tradition that is more than 80 years old. It is time that the policy of short-term bottom line ends and the community as a whole is considered and heard with a loud roar. We want to stay in our community school and do not want to consolidate with another school in another community. This historic community site doesn't need another blow and an eyesore of a vacant Ascarate Elementary School. This is a community school, and the children deserve to continue to come to this school and leave their educational mark. Consolidation or closure will only devalue life and property for all of us who have made our homes here. We feel that the loss of such a vital institution would have extreme negative long-term effects on our communities. In effect, they would be removing vital focal points as well as undermining the quality of life and property values in this historic neighborhood. We condemn such short-term reasoning, especially after the recent renovations at taxpayers' expense to Ascarate Elementary. We call on the board to find an innovative and community-serving solution to the perceived problem rather than the current proposal to gut established services and remove the landmark from the cityscape. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, normally we don't engage with the speaker, but I'm curious as to who or what would lead you to believe that we have plans to close Ascarate Elementary School.
It's just been rumored. It was told to us that before the bond it had gotten rejected, and then they let us know that it had started up again.
That what had started up, that this
That
board,
the rumors started up again, yes, that they wanted to close the school and that they wanted to move us into another school.
oh. Because I don't think any of us are aware of any conversations surrounding Ascarate Elementary School being closed. I believe we discussed it being repurposed at one time, but we haven't had that conversation either as a staff or as a board as of yet. So I'm curious as to where the rumors, the source of the rumors. You don't remember who told you that?
No, I don't, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming tonight.
Thank you.
Next person is Jaime Abitia.
Good evening, everyone. President Haggerty, Mr. Superintendent, board members. I'm really here just to thank and congratulate, as a member of the Ysleta Learning Community, President Haggerty for his service. As president, as a member of the community, I have seen Ysleta in the good days and in the very, 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 very bad days. And you have been a guiding force to guide the district out of some very, very dark days, and into a very respectable governing body. Your oversight over the finances of the district, and really you leading the charge on making the district more transparent and accountable to the community, is the type of leadership that we need to get more trust in our government again. And at a time when this community has struggles with trusting their government, seeing you lead the way on that has been something that has helped folks like myself start to gain trust in our government again. So even though you're from the Parkland area, not Ysleta, I'm still, all due respect to the representative from the Del Valle area. But again, I do want to thank you for your leadership over these past years, and I look forward to seeing you lead in perhaps another, well, more than perhaps, in probably another capacity for this community. So on behalf of myself and, the folks that I know in my community, I want to thank you once again for your leadership, President Haggerty.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next person is Ysleta Dominguez, and subject is no consolidation is karate.
Good afternoon. Mr. De La Torre and the board members, maybe you're gonna have that same question. That's my, the other parent, about the rumor that karate is gonna be consolidation with another school. Because I remember the first time when the bond passed is one of the plans. And I know the plan is still going. And we worry about it. That's why we're here. Maybe the rumors is around and still around, and that's why we're here to clarify, or just to let us know, let them know that this is not going to happen. And we worry because as a parent, that we still have children around in the karate, and I remember the first time the bond passed is in the plan that as karate and city group is going to be get together or consolidation, and that's one of the still the worries. And and I'm here to advocate for as karate elementary that I say right now, where my children attend. As a parent, business owner, and community member, we feel that other options exist. And I remember that I say the same words in the first time when you brought the bond and the plans. And that's one of the many, many worries that we have, because I don't know if, especially when we talk about it in the first time in the bond, we so worry if that happened, how we can imagine how it's gonna be happen as karate and city group get together, like maybe is some details that we have in our mind. For example, how can we get that transportation to karate to another school? Maybe you have a good ideas as a president, as a member, and we know that you want to have the best future for our students. But that's one of the worries that we have. How we can imagine, how can we get together around 1,000 students? And I know they already did one other schools, the consolidation, but if this is going to happen, we want to know what's going on, because I take my attention that you say, where is the rumors? The rumors start when the bonds start. And we didn't hear anything, not anymore, but that's one of the words that we have.
I was just curious because the bond passed almost 18 months ago, and if the rumors started 18 months ago, I find it interesting that we're having the conversation tonight. We've not started any conversation around the consolidation of any school. Now, I can't tell you whether or not in the future that conversation will surface, but I can tell you as of today, this board nor this staff has had any conversation around consolidating Ascarate and Cedar Grove. We're excited to see Thomas Manor, the new Thomas Manor Elementary School, and believe that it will be a great educational experience for those children, and that's been a great asset to that community. It's a beautiful facility. Once we experience that and we see what kind of impact or influence it has on that community and on those students, then we may begin to have a conversation about Cedar Grove and Ascarate, that I believe may be the oldest school in the entire district. But as of today, and in the near future, by that I mean 2-3 years from now, what you describe hasn't been discussed and isn't planned by this board or by this staff. So I want you to go home tonight and know that for at least the next 2 or 3 years, that's not going to happen.
Okay, because we hear some in the news the two school is gonna be consolidation. And that's what the next
It came out on the news?
in the news, yes, yes, sir. And this morning. They didn't mention the names, but that's one of the things kept our attention. They say, okay, maybe it's gonna be us. Because I remember the one when the start is gonna happen.
Ms. Duenas?
That's one of
Yes.
the worries.
The,
Being that I'm the representative of this area.
but the board can't address
You
the
can't address
speaker.
it.
Well-
Only the superintendent can.
Ms. Duenas, you can't do it.
You can't engage the speaker. They turned off the microphone.
Well, it is going to be done.
Okay.
Those are his plans.
We hope it's not gonna happen, Mr. De La Torre and the board members, because it's one of the worries. And
We-
I know
we
this
understand.
this meeting is to express our worries.
We
And thank
appreciate
you
that.
for listening us, okay? And so you say right now, for 3 years, it's not gonna happen. We hope you keep that word.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming tonight.
The next speaker is Elba Villagrana. No closure consolidation of the Riverside School.
Good afternoon, Board. My name is Elba Viagran. I'm here representing the Ramona School, and we're hoping again not to have a consolidation of the school or the closure of the school. Ramona is an exceptional 2016 award candidate for all the district there.
It's true, Ramona's a fine elementary school, and they're doing outstanding things.
But not big enough.
Ramona's never been mentioned.
But it's not big enough for consolidation.
Okay.
We know where the rumors, I guess, started, and this is also where they will end. There's no talk to close Escarate, there's no talk to close Ramona.
Yes, it was in the budget
Ma'am,
meeting.
there is not.
Well,
And
you're
it's
speaking
on the
and it's in the
record and
budget
all that
meeting.
great stuff for you, but it's not. And for you to continue to,
It is, and it's a done
Instigate
deal
these
already.
rumors that don't
I
exist.
mean, no, it is, but it was mentioned in the budget and you weren't there, Mr. Haggerty.
okay.
Or the consolidation to, to move the
And
children from
hopefully
there
it
to
was
another school.
taped because it's supposed to.
Thank you for coming
Okay.
tonight.
Thank
And you're right about Ramona Elementary School. It's a beautiful little school, and Ms. Medley.
Yeah, and I'm the representative from the area. I have been helping Mr. Chico Dominguez, the president from the area, and right now we're up for lighting on our walking path behind the school, and this is a project that we have been working for, so the students and all the people there are able to go walking later at night in the back of the school also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
During the May 8th workshop, consent item number 2 was pulled by President Haggerty for a separate motion. Policy items number 2, CFC, and number 3, CAA, were pulled for a future workshop. Trustee Pearson has asked to change the order of the agenda and have the public hearing and approval of the budget to be moved to the beginning of the agenda. Using electronic voting, may I have a motion to change the order and revise the agenda?
Mr. President, I move to approve changing and revising the order of the May 10th, 2017 agenda.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Dr. De La Torre, does the administration have a recommendation on revising the order of the agenda?
President Haggerty, members of the board, the administration supports and recommends the changing of the agenda as described.
Thank you. Motion is approved, 7-0. We'll now have the public hearing for the proposed budget of 2017-18. Secretary Duenas, do we have anyone signed up to speak?
No. For what? We have somebody to speak? Oh, I think they were to speak on the public hearing? Oh, okay. I I think they misunderstood because they're signed off on both of them. Are you going to speak on the public hearing, Ms. Dominguez? Ysleta Dominguez? You were speaking on the closure of the schools, or are you going to speak on the public hearing? No, okay. And then Elvia Villagrana, also, I think they signed, I guess they must have signed on the wrong sheet. Do you want to speak in the public hearing? No.
The superintendent has the opportunity during discussion to make a recommendation to the board on any item on this agenda. Unless otherwise stated, the superintendent will be considered in favor of each item. So for action item number 1, approve a resolution adopting the 2017-18 official budget, including the general fund budget, the child nutrition services budget, the debt service budget, by fund and function as shown on Schedule A to the resolution, and which official budget includes recommended appropriations listed by the administration, the 2017-18 annual compensation plan, specifying the salary schedules for teachers, nurses, and librarians, and compensation to other employees, including a salary increase equal to 2% of midpoint, and a one-time lump sum payment of $450 to all employees employed by the district on a full-time basis on November 23rd, 2017, payable on or before December 22nd, 2017, with applicable taxes and deductions required by law reflected in the employee's next regular paycheck. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Can you push your button?
Is this number 2 on the action item?
It's the first one.
The first one? Okay. So is this who do I address it to?
To Dr. De La Torre.
Okay. Dr. De La Torre, and this is saying that it's going to be a 2%. That's what we discussed on the budget meeting, and the $450 on the extra they're going to get in December. Is that correct?
The recommendation by the administration is that for the 2017-18 school year, the annual compensation plan specifying the salary schedule for teachers, nurses, librarians, and other employees will include a salary increase of 2% from the midpoint, a one-time lump sum payment of $450 to all employees employed by the district on a full-time basis, an individual one-time lump sum payment of $500 to each employee that was at step 30, and a $1,000 each employee that was at step 31 or above on the 2016-17 teacher, nurse, librarian salary schedule.
So this includes the midpoint also? The mid
2% from the midpoint, yes.
Okay. The reason why is because we don't want them to come back and say that the midpoint wasn't able to get their raise. That's why I want to make it specified and put it in record.
It's on the record.
Okay.
Mr. Rosales, you had a question?
I don't have a question. I have a comment in regards to Dr. La Torre. I want to thank you and the administration for addressing the step 30 and 31. I felt that we needed to do something and step up, and you came forward, and I appreciate that.
Yes,
and thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
That.
We value our employees.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to make a comment? If not, may I please have a motion on action item number 1? You beat me to it.
Did you want? You can do it if you want.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead.
I move to approve a resolution adopting the 2017-18 official budget, including the general fund budget, the child nutrition services budget, and the debt services budget by fund and function as shown on Schedule A to the resolution, and which official budget includes recommended appropriations listed by the administration, the 27-18 annual compensation plan specifying the salary schedule for teachers, nurses, and librarians, compensation to other employees, including a salary increase equal to 2% of the midpoint, a one-time lump sum payment of $450 to all employees employed by the district on a full-time basis on November 23rd, 2017, payable on or before December 22nd, 2017, with applicable taxes and deductions required by law reflected in the employee's next regular paycheck, and an additional one-time lump sum payment of $500 to each employee that was at the step 30 and the $1,000 to each employee that was at step 31 or above on the 2016-17 teacher, nurse, and librarian salary schedule and was employed by the district on a full-time basis on November 23rd, 2017, payable on or before December 22nd, 2017, with applicable taxes and deductions required by law reflected in the employee's next regular paycheck. We have a motion and a second. Dr. De La Torre's administration have a recommendation on the budget?
The administration would ask that you approve a resolution adopting the 2017-18 official budget, including the general fund budget, the child nutrition services budget, and the debt service budget, by fund and function as shown on Schedule A to the resolution, and which official budget includes recommended appropriations listed by the administration. The 2017-18 annual compensation plan specifying the salary schedule for teachers, nurses, and librarians, and compensation to other employees, including a salary increase equal to 2% of midpoint, a one-time lump sum payment of $450 to all employees employed by the district on a full-time basis on November 23rd, 2017, payable on or before December 22nd, 2017, with applicable taxes and deductions required by law reflected in the employee's next regular paycheck, and an additional one-time lump sum payment of $500 to each employee that was at step 30 and $1,000 to each employee that was at step 31 or above on the 2016-17 teacher, nurse, and librarian salary schedule and is employed by the district on a full-time basis on November 23rd, 2017, payable on or before December 22nd, 2017, with applicable taxes and deductions required by law reflected in the employee's next regular paycheck.
Thank you, sir. Can you repeat that?
Can I repeat that?
Motion is approved, 7-0. Under Office of the Superintendent, Dr. De La Torre, do you have any reports?
President Haggerty, members of the board, esteemed guests, this week we celebrate our educators for their dedication and commitment to students as part of National Teacher Appreciation Week, which takes place from May 8th through May 12th. The most important work we do comes from within the four corners of the classroom, and as teachers, you play a critical role every day in the lives of our students. I would also like to congratulate the 2017-18 Teachers of the Year for the Ysleta Independent School District. They are Pebble Hills Elementary School teacher Heather Holmes, who was named Elementary Teacher of the Year, and Ysleta High School JROTC instructor Alan Haynes, who was named Secondary Teacher of the Year. We appreciate the hard work, passion, and persistence of all our teachers. Let's give them a round of applause. Next Friday, May 19th, we're excited to showcase the district's top STEM programs to local VIPs as part of a new event called Classroom to Career, shining a spotlight on public education. Elected officials, business professionals, and community leaders have been invited to tour select campuses where they will experience our innovative instruction firsthand in order to understand how we, as a public school system, are preparing our students for the workplace of tomorrow. And lastly, high school graduations are right around the corner. Our first ceremony is the Valle Verde Early College High School graduation that takes place June 5th at the Abraham Chavez Theater, followed by the Ysleta High School graduation on June 6th at its stadium. The rest of our comprehensive high schools will hold their commencement ceremonies on June 12th and 13th at UTEP's Don Haskins Center. We look forward to seeing you there, and congratulations to the class of 2017. That concludes my report, President Haggerty.
Thank you, sir. Oh, I got one. Board reports on events, meetings, and conferences. Mr. Rosales.
Very briefly, unfortunately, I'm remiss in the fact that I did not bring my notes. The only comment that I have is that the last 2 years I've served with the Rio Grande Council of Government, and it's been an eye-opening experience, the tremendous amount of work that's being done by that group. in relationship to the well-being of the entire region. We're talking about grants that are sought for law enforcement. We're talking in terms of the water quality of the entire region. And there's an infinite amount of work that's being done by those ladies. The other one is the aging. The department was the aging process, or the aging is helping out. Pardon me? Area aging. That's a big component of them. And these people, I've been really impressed with the way they handle things and how they address things in a very professional, uplifting manner for the betterment of the entire region, which includes Las Cruces all the way down to Hudspeth County. It's been an eye-opening, and I would just want to share that with you people. I go to these meetings, and I participate. I'm part of the financial review group. They're on solid ground as far as finances, and it's good to see a government entity being run in a very professional, business-like environment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
I was asked to speak, since this will be my last meeting on leadership. And that's a difficult subject for me because as I was looking back on my 7 years on the board, and I can remember one of the very first continuing education seminars that we went to was in Boston. And that night they held a get-together at the Kennedy Library. And I remember standing out on the balcony overlooking this body of water. It was just beautiful. And here I am. I was 34 years old, 35. I was just some punk kid who won a popularity contest, is what I thought. I didn't even know what a trustee was supposed to do at the time. And I'm supposed to be the leader. I thought people were going to see right through me. I thought Dr. Z was going to see through me. And what was I doing here? I'm just some little punk kid from Ysleta. But being that little punk kid from Ysleta, there were teachers along the way that saw something special in me. I remember Mrs. Peartree, my chemistry teacher, who really was the first to believe in me, and that was reinforced by Dr. Kennedy's husband, Coach. He really pushed me to be able to give it my all, and to live up to my potential. And even when I was running, I remember wanting to win and wanting to do well as a trustee, so that way if I ran into my two teachers, they would be proud of me, and I could tell them, you know what, you were right. That potential that you said you saw in me, it is there. And I can become that leader. And it was really neat when I first started running for the board, and I had an outgoing board member, Lisa Montalongo, come up and say, you know what, I see something special in you. Whether you see it or not, I see it. And then having the community reelect me without a runoff, or I'm sorry, without an election at all, was very, very humbling. And again, it was, we see something special in you, whether you see it or not. This present board, when they elected me president, again, it was, we see you as this leader that, again, I didn't see. I just still saw that punk kid from Ysleta. Being able to work with Dr. De La Torre, with the Ysleta Teachers Association, with these great community leaders, these people sitting right here, these fantastic people that take care of 42,000 students every single day, looking to me for leadership when, again, I'm just some kid from Ysleta. So being that there's two kids from Ysleta, if you two can come stand up over here real quick, because I want to tell you guys something. These two have huge goals, huge aspirations. So that one there wants to be president of the United States, and this one's going to be the first man on Mars. And let me tell you something. Being able to sit right here at this time as president of this board, being just some punk kid from Ysleta, with the help of every single person in this room, with this board and this leadership that I'm leaving you guys with, you too, you can achieve those goals, you can achieve those dreams, because guess what? That something special that was in me is Ysleta. And you too have that same inside of you. And I guarantee you, you follow through, you're going to have it. And thank you all very much for an amazing 7 years. I know I'm going to miss it, but thank you. Well, the order of the agenda has been approved. May I have an electronic motion on the remaining consent agenda items listed on this agenda as recommended by administration?
Mr. President, I move to approve the remaining consent agenda items listed on this agenda.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Can everybody cast your electronic vote? Motion is approved, 7-0. We have pulled consent item number 2. Oh, thank you. Consider and take possible action to approve the resolution supporting the nomination of Dr. De La Torre for 2017 Superintendent of the Year by the Texas Association of School Boards. And I pulled this because I do have discussion, and I probably have to time myself to try to get this through in 3 minutes. Notwithstanding everything that Dr. De La Torre, that you've done, and everything that's led up to this, and the myriad of reasons why not only will you become the 2017 Superintendent of the Year for Region 19, I know you're going to take us all the way, and you're going to make us proud at the state level. I would like to read his resolution. Whereas during the 3-year tenure at YISD, Dr. Xavier De La Torre has consistently shown himself to be a tireless champion for children, public education, innovation, and technology, and has breathed a vibrant new life into our 102-year-old district, catapulting our traditional programs and services in the 21st century to change the trajectory of the lives of YISD students. Whereas Dr. De La Torre successfully passed a $430.5 million facilities bond to pay for the construction of new schools, renovations, improvements, upgrades, long-awaited infrastructure replacements, and significant investments in athletic and arts facilities. Whereas Dr. De La Torre sought out and successfully opened the first all-girls college preparatory public school in the El Paso area and is in the process of introducing a new all-boys public school in the fall of 2018. Whereas Dr. De La Torre applied for and received TEA designation to open 2 new early college high schools in 2017-18, then established a common application process for all 3 YISD early college high schools, including the 2017 National Blue Ribbon nominee, Valle Verde Early College High School. Whereas Dr. De La Torre made YISD the first district in the region to offer a universal pre-K program free of cost to all El Paso families. Whereas Dr. De La Torre expanded YISD vastly popular international schools to 3 campuses, and established a support for 3 additional campuses to adopt the multilingual international school K-6 curriculum that is strongly desired by the community. And whereas under Dr. De La Torre's deliberate and watchful guidance, YISD has been transformed into a pioneer in local public education, offering new programs and schooling previously unavailable to the El Paso area that has attracted families outside of our traditional boundaries. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Ysleta Independent School District Board of Trustees that the board resolves to nominate YISD Superintendent of Schools Xavier De La Torre for the Texas Association of School Boards Superintendent of the Year Award for his exemplary and visionary leadership towards improving student performance in our schools, dated this day, the 10th day of May, 2017. We do have another speaker signed up because I probably went past my 3 minutes. Oops. Can you click it one more time?
The what?
Can you push your button one more time? I pushed the wrong button.
Okay. Well, I understand the situation here, but I can't say the same thing. In the Riverside area, we have been lacking a lot of stuff. We have not had our students being recognized, even though I've had to constantly say that we need a lot of projects done in our area, and yet it's been denied, and that's against the law. Also, our students, we've had talented students about winning championships, Rangerettes, basketball, girls basketball, and Ivy League students not being able to be recognized. This is something that it's really hurting our community. We are part of the district, and we are, like I said before, being consolidated and closures of our schools. And I don't know, Dr. De La Torre, what has Riverside ever done anything to you? We have not done anything to you on this for you to be putting our school down, especially the Riverside area. and especially in one of our city representative, Emma Costa's meeting, that if it was up to you, you would close the Riverside area. That's uncalled for. So I'm sorry, but in this case, I do not agree with the rest of the board. Thank you. I'm speaking for my district myself, my area, District 1.
Ms. Woodruff?
I just want to say that I had an interesting talk with Dr. Delatorre the other day, and his comment was that if something were to happen to me, that the district would still be strong. And my comment was that is the testimony of a strong leader, making a district strong enough to where that we could continue on even in his absence. And I say again, I don't want that to happen. But I just want to say thank you to Dr. Delatorre for all of his innovation, for all of his ideas. I do feel like he has touched the whole district. I feel like that he cares for every single learning community. I feel like that we are on our way to bigger and greater things. And I just want to tell him thank you for all of his hard work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Harris?
Yes. Dr. De La Torre, I just wanted to, I completely support this. And I wanted to let you know that you've led this district very positively, and it reflects in the schools, the students, and the administration. Leadership being is at the top, and I think you do an excellent job. And I feel as the team that we are, we're going to continue to move forward and do great things. So thank you for your leadership.
Mr. Ramirez?
Thank you. Dr. Latorre, I just wanted to thank you for all the hard work, and I would like to make a comment to the community that we know how hard our teachers work in the classroom and the number of hours they put in. And we know how hard our administrators work, and we know how hard our central office staff works. We know that our superintendent works hard too, and you can't imagine the passion that he has for the work that he does, the passion that he has for selecting the right people to do the work and serve our community the way he does. You can send him a text or an email at 11 o'clock at night and you get a response from him, even on a Saturday or Sunday night. You can call him and he will pick up the phone, or he'll tell you, I'll call you right back. He makes himself available for all things, and there isn't any item too small. He has served this community well in the 2 years that I have been on the board. He served this community well, and he continues to serve. He has great vision, and when the opportunity happens, I hope that we get a chance to talk more about our vision for YISD in the future. Last month, we approved an extension on his contract. Didn't think, I thought about it, but we cover a lot of things in these meetings. Yesterday, somebody was talking to me and they said, Sotero, you realize that 2020 is 30 months away. And I just kind of fell back, when I looked at it and saying, we're 17, 18 months into the bond issue. By 2020 or 30 months away from now, we will know for a fact how we served our community and whether we told the truth to our community and whether we kept our commitments. He has kept us on track. And so as a educational organization, as a board of trustee, I would like to say thank you for all the things that you do to help guide this. The other thing too, is he doesn't do it by hitting people over the head. He does it by creating that passion within them. And we were meeting with two of the trustees, Ms. Harrison and I. We were meeting with two of the associates. And one of the associates told us, don't worry, Mr. Ramirez, we're not going to disappoint the kids, we're not going to disappoint the board, and we're not going to disappoint Dr. Latorre. I like that. Okay, because this has nothing to do with meeting a number. This has to do, we're going to do the right thing, we're going to make it happen because of the team you selected. So on behalf of my community, thank you very much, and you do make a difference to the YISD.
Mr. Rosales?
Thank you. I'm certainly would echo everything you said in regards to Dr. Latorre. I came on board 2 years ago, and when I first came on, you were on jury. I mean, you were on duty. I was checking you out because I wanted to see. I'm serious. You know, I come from the business community, and when I saw $451 million, I said, what in the hell are they doing at Ysleta? And that's what started me into this position I'm in. So as I got here, I quickly understood and still understand the tremendous leadership traits that you bring. And I've been around the block once or twice, and let me tell you something. You have leadership. Your leadership style is you lead by example. You have a tremendous group of people here, and oftentimes as I watch them sit here till 9:30 or 10, I say, gee, money Christmas, these people have been here since 7:30 this morning, and I appreciate you. But it's a reflection of your leadership. I thank you. There's a lot of things that are not correct, but I have no doubt that we're going to get whatever happens to come as obstacle, we'll overcome them because we have the leadership, we have that vitality. And not only that, in this room, our principals and our teachers are living by that same vitality because of your leadership. And I thank you for everything you've done. Okay?
Just briefly, I want to thank you. I'm both honored and humbled that you have nominated me for the Superintendent of the Year. I think that what I do best is I recognize and I assemble a great group of people. And what you've described is a testament to them and the work they do. And by the way, if you're Pat O'Neill, you've been up since 5 walking campuses. So he gets a little tired and grumpy about 9:30, 10 o'clock. Keep that in mind in the future. It's also because of the recognition that we have to work closely with our teachers, which means working closely with the employee associations, specifically YTA, to accomplish some things. And so I don't think that the district has ever been more high-performing or cohesive than it is now. And I like to tell everybody, and they'll agree to this, we have both, I got to believe, one of the hardest jobs in America, but also one of the most fulfilling and rewarding jobs in America. And to your point, we don't ever want to let this board down. We don't want to let the community down. All of us put our name and our face out there relative to this bond, and it's absolutely imperative that we deliver as presented if we ever want their support again. And I feel like under Mr. O'Neill's leadership and the rest of the team's leadership, we are well on our way to doing that. And I'm just delighted to be here. Thank God every day and feel blessed to be part of this team. So thank you regardless of whatever happens at Region 19.
There's been times in the past where I've allowed community members to come up and speak during different agenda items. So if there's any community member that would like to come up and offer their thoughts, either positive or negative, for what we're planning on doing.
Can I look out there first?
Got 3 minutes.
3 minutes, all right?
3 minutes,
yes.
President Haggerty, I addressed you guys as a private citizen and member of the Ysleta learning community. And I'm also someone who has observed local politics and government for the better part of the last 15 years. I have not always been the biggest fan of Dr. De La Torre. I have been critical of Dr. De La Torre in the past. But I will say that as a member of this community and seeing firsthand Dr. De La Torre in action, both as an adversary and as someone that worked together, I have been very impressed with his work ethic and what he has done. During the bond, we were in this very room, and I tussled as much as I could with some folks because I shared the same concern about $450 million. I was in the same situation as you were, but I also want to echo the sentiments of most of the trustees today in saying that it's very well deserved. And I think that it echoes in your staff and the morale of your staff. I know that often, you know, they're not always treated 100% the way they should be by some individuals, but I know that it is because of your leadership and the morale that you have entrusted in your staff that they're able to be free to do the good work that they do throughout the district. They all have a great reputation in the schools. I mean, I've seen little kids recognize some of them in the hallways, and to watch them, you know, at Ysleta High School and some of the feeder patterns as they make their way and do their jobs, and see that they're recognized and respected and liked by the teachers and by the students. As a community member, that brings my heart joy to see that. and I feel like my tax dollars are in good hands with you all, and I think this is well-deserved. So job well done, Dr. De La Torre.
Thank you, Mr. Arvete. I know you don't give compliments freely, loosely. So it means a lot. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak? Looks like we got someone else coming up. You're in trouble now.
Big trouble. You're in a heap of trouble, buddy. Let me say that.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. I wasn't going to speak tonight. I didn't know we were going to have this chance. But I do want to say that everything you're doing today as far as nominating Dr. De La Torre for Best Superintendent of the Year is totally right. He has been the best that I've had to work with. And I've gone through a lot of superintendents. Everybody knows I've been through a lot. And I just want to say thank you. To be able to talk with him, discuss things, and for him to listen makes a whole lot of difference. And I've never been able to do that with any other superintendent. He really understands what teachers are going through, and he really tries to help in every way that he can. And I could not wish this for anyone more than Dr. De La Torre.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you.
I don't see anybody else getting up. Nope. In that case, if there's no further discussion, I'd entertain a motion for consent item number 2. You're fast on this button.
I move to adopt, President Haggerty, I move to adopt Ysleta-specific language and I'm sorry, I got the wrong one. I already moved on. I move to approve the resolution supporting the nomination of Dr. De La Torre for 2017 Superintendent of the Year by the Texas Association of School Boards.
We have a motion and a second. Should I ask if you have a recommendation?
No, please don't.
Motion is approved, 5-0.
Thank you.
It should be. No, it's 5-1, and then 1 no vote. Motion is approved, 5-1. No, let me do this. On to policy action items. Number 1, consider and take possible action to adopt Ysleta-specific language in local policy DNA, performance appraisal evaluation of teachers. Is there any discussion?
Which one? Action number?
Policy action item number 1.
Didn't we vote on that one already?
No, we're voting on it now, if nobody has any discussion.
Mr. President, I move to adopt the Ysleta-specific language and local policy DNA performance appraisal evaluation of teachers.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a motion and a second. Dr. De La Torre, do you have a recommendation on policy action item?
President Haggerty, members of the board, the administration is in full support of the policy as written.
Thank you, sir. Motion is approved, 6-0. Moving back into the action items, action item number 2. Consider and take possible action to approve award of YISD solicitation 217034 CSP Ramona Park lighting improvements project to Facilities Solutions Group for a not to exceed amount of $85,977 from federally funded special revenue funds. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
You push your button. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. O'Neill?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How soon will this project be, since it's been that long and it's been quite a while?
It will be 60 days from when they get the notice to proceed. The notice to proceed should be issued sometime this week, early next week, and then they have 60 days to get the project complete.
Okay. Now, also, who's the contractor?
All right, the contractor is Facility Solutions Group.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because I got mixed up with the other one also. The other one is the architect, right?
The architect was CDA Architects.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any further discussion? If not, may I please have a motion on action item number 2?
Mr. President, I move to approve award of YISD solicitation number 217034 CSP Ramona Park Lighting Improvements Project to Facility Solutions Group for a not-to-exceed amount of $85,977 from federally funded special revenue funds.
Thank you. Motion is second, and motion is approved, 6-0. Board of Trustees has determined that a closed meeting of the Board of Trustees is required to discuss the items set forth in the posted agenda for this date. Such closed meeting is authorized by the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Section 551.001, including but not limited to the sections and purposes covered by the following section of the Texas Government Code 551.071, 72, 73, 74, 76, 82, 821, 83, and 84. Should any final action, decision, or vote be required with regard to any matter considered in closed session, the final action, decision, or vote shall be in the open meeting or at a subsequent public meeting with notice. The board will now move to the Rio Grande Room for closed session at 6:44 p.m. Meeting at 8:11 with the following people present: Mr. Rosales, Mr. Ramirez, Ms. Hairston, Ms. Duenas, Mrs. Woodruff, and myself, Shane Haggerty. Action item number 1. Consider and take possible action to approve term sheet for non-district use, lease, or sale of closed RFK pre-K located at 9009 Alameda. Direct the superintendent or designee to provide advance notice to open enrollment charter schools pursuant to Texas Education Code 11.1542 and set a deadline of 5 p.m. on June 9th, 2017 for receipt of offers in response to such terms from charter schools. Using electronic hand for discussion, is there any? If not, may I please have a motion on action item number 1?
Mr. President, I move to approve term sheet for non-district use, lease, or sale of closed Robert F. Kennedy Pre-K located at 9009 Alameda. Direct the superintendent or designee to provide advance notice to open enrollment charter schools pursuant to Texas Education Code 11.1542 and set a deadline of 5 p.m. on June 9th, 2017 for receipt of offers in response to such terms from charter schools.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Dr. De La Torre, does administration have a recommendation on this item?
Yes, President Haggerty, members of the board, the administration would ask that you take action to approve a term sheet for non-district use, lease, or sale of closed Robert F. Kennedy Pre-K located at 9009 Alameda, and direct me, the superintendent, or a designee to provide advance notice to open enrollment charter schools pursuant to Texas Education Code 11.1542.
Thank you, sir. Motion is approved, 6-0. Action item number 2, consider and take possible action regarding health scope benefit and express scripts regarding pharmacy rebates. Is there discussion? If there is no discussion, may I please have a motion on action item number 2? I gotta push the button, sorry. Motion fails. Nobody voted. Wait, one more time. There we go.
Mr. President, I move to approve that YISD legal counsel be authorized to resolve claims against health scope benefits and express scripts regarding pharmaceutical rebates as discussed in closed session.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Dr. De La Torre, I'll ask you for the last time if administration has a recommendation on an item.
Don't encourage him. The administration would ask that you take action regarding health scope benefits and express scripts as discussed in closed session.
Thank you, sir. And my last motion approved is 6-0. There's one more section before the adjournment under announcements. I would like to, again, thank everybody in this room, to include this board. Again, I feel comfortable leaving only because of who's sitting in this room right now and who's on this board. And if I could leave you with any advice at all, it would be the advice when I very first came in 7 years ago that I got from my principal, Frank Burton, who was the principal at Eastwood when I graduated. And what he told me was, anytime you're making a decision on something and you put your kid on the other side of the table and you decide if that's good enough for my kid, then that's probably what's good for the district and for the rest of the 42,000 kids that we have the opportunity to serve. So if I can leave you with that, and if you keep that in mind, I know you guys are going to continue to do fantastic things for this district, continue to move it forward and be a great place, the only place for my sons to come. And again, I thank every one of you. And with that, I'll make the motion to adjourn. We are adjourned at 8:15.
Thank you.